Greek mythology, how spiders came to be. The story of Arachne and Athena. Arachne's fingers moved so quickly across the loom, they were a blur. She hummed as she wove, passing the shuttle expertly back and forth, and onlookers jostled for space as they watched the tapestry take shape. In no time at all, it was finished. "What do you think of that?" she said, handling the piece to a shy nymph who had ventured out from the forest to see the famous girl at work. The tapestry showed animals playing among the trees and had a border of intertwined leaves all around. "It's lovely," breathed the nymph. "You must be better at weaving than anyone else in the world." Arachne nodded proudly. "I am better than any of the gods too, actually," she boasted. A frail voice spoke up from the crowd. "You can't be better than the goddess Athena. She is famous for her weaving. You're only human, after all." "I can weave better than she can," snorted Arachne. The old lady who had spoken stepped forward. "That's rather a bold claim," she said, her voice sharpening. "I'd take it back if I were you. You never know who's listening." "I wouldn't care if Athena herself could hear me," Arachne said scornfully. "I stand by what I say." The old woman threw back the hood of her cape and straightened her back. The wrinkles on her face faded until her skin was smooth and glowing. She grew taller and her hair became glossy. Before the crowd's very eyes, she turned into the goddess Athena. Everyone bowed their heads respectfully, apart from Arachne, who just stared at the goddess, first flushing red and then turned very pale. "Do you dare repeat that to my face?" Athena asked. An angry goddess is a terrifying sight, but Arachne was far too proud to back down. Her voice wavered a little as she spoke. "I can weave better than you can," she said. Athena's eyes narrowed. "Then let's have a competition, and you can prove it to everyone." Arachne nodded, swallowing nervously. She stood up from her loom and gestured to the stool. "You can go first if you like," she said. Athena sat down, pushed back her sleeves, and began to weave. As everyone watched, the threads started to form a beautiful, intricate scene. It showed arrogant humans being put in their places by the glorious gods. The figures were so lifelike that when she wove Zeus, throwing a thunderbolt in anger, people in the crowd ducked, thinking the bolt was about to hit them. Beneath her fingers, the thread somehow glowed brighter than any ordinary thread, and when she had finished, the image shimmered as though it was inlaid with gold and silver. It was truly amazing. "There," Athena said triumphantly, and she stood up to let Arachne take her place at the loom. Arachne took a deep breath and began to weave. She worked intently, without saying a word, and as she wove, people gasped at her skill. She had never produced anything more wonderful or more daring than this. The scene she wove was every bit as intricate as Athena's, but it showed brave heroes challenging foolish gods. Tiny ships sailed valiantly across the seas, while Zeus stirred up a storm looking for all the world like a giant, truculent toddler. When Arachne had finished, she turned to the crowd. "Well," she said, there was no denying her skill. The tapestry was every bit as good as Athena's, if not better, but nobody was fool enough to say so. Athena's face was menacing as a thundercloud. "Your arrogance will be your downfall," she shouted. She tore the tapestry from the loom and ripped it into tiny shreds in front of Arachne's face. Then she seized the girl by the throat and lifted her up into the air. "How dare you challenging a goddess and expect to win?" she hissed. "I'll see to it that you never weave again." Arachne's face turned ashen as she gasped for breath. "Please," she begged hoarsely. "Weaving is all I've ever wanted to do. It's all I can do." Athena dropped the girl in a crumpled heap on the floor. "Fine," she snapped. "You may continue weaving, but you certainly won't be able to boast about it anymore." She rapped the girl on the top of her head with her knuckles, and at once, a terrible transformation began to take place. Arachne's arms and legs shrank back into her body, leaving only her 8 long fingers along her sides. Her head squashed into her torso, which became squat and round. Her nose disappeared entirely, and her eyes multiplied until she had 8 of them in a row. Her skin turned dark and sprouted hairs, and she shrank and shrank until she was no bigger than the palm of a child's hand. Arachne had turned into a spider. She scuttled away into the shadows, and everyone thought they had seen the last of her. But the very next morning, a nymph came running from the forest. "Come and see," she shouted excitedly. The villagers followed her back to the forest, where the nymph showed them a beautiful woven pattern hanging between the branches. The thread was so delicate, a mere breath could break it, and the pattern was dotted with dewdrops that glittered in the sun like diamonds. The skill was unmistakable. "Arachne the spider has woven her first web," the nymph announced. From that day forward, evidence of Arachne's weaving have been found all over the world. So many webs have been found in so many far-flung places that people say Arachne must have passed on her skills to lots of other spiders too.